Hi, everybody. So I'm Barb Langridge from bookandahug.com. And this is one of the first videos we're doing in our series of actually sitting down and talking about how do you teach your child to read. There are many of us who, learn from our own parents at home, and we can maybe remember a little bit about what that was like. Some of us, nobody at home ever taught us how to read, so we don't have the faintest idea of how to approach this. So we are going to look at what do those first moments look like? How do you do this? Just what is this teaching your child to read all about? And we are very lucky today to have a very special lady. Her name is Ruth Ingulsrud, and she is actually joining us from Japan. She's the founding director of a nonprofit, and it is called JOEE.jp. The JP is for Japan, but she has been teaching in Japan. She's been teaching English and reading for quite some time, and now she's moved into her own thing. So welcome, Ruth. It's so great to be with you. And can you just give us a sense of what you've been doing and how things are going?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's going well. It's different. I was teaching at an international school, and I was the teacher librarian, so I got to connect with kids K through 5th. So that was really fun. Having different ways of teaching the different ages, and then I quit my job to start this nonprofit teaching English to kids growing up in orphanages. These kids, no way could they afford an education at a private international school. But I think it's important that they learn English, and that would open up a lot of opportunities for them when they exit the homes at age 18.
Wow.
So yeah, we're living here in Nagano, doing a lot of our stuff online. I teach Zoom classes to kids in orphanages. I can see them through the camera. They can see me. We interact that way. I have puppets that pop in and keep them, interested and motivated. Hey, hi, what you doing? Oh, sorry. This is Barbara, or you're also called Megumi, right? Yeah, yeah. Hello. Oh, who is that? That's Barb. Oh, she's famous. Is she the book lady? Yes, she's the book lady. Hello.
Oh, it's great to meet you.
Thank you. The feelings are mutual. Okay. But we're going to do an interview. So can you go play with Hamlet the pig for a while? Oh, sure. Okay, see you later.
See you later.
Okay, there she goes. Oh, yeah. So I have lots of puppet friends that help me teach English, and they helped me in the library when I was teaching about books and reading. So makes
Fantastic.
things interesting.
I'll bet the kids have a great time. That's wonderful. All right, Ruth, we are going to turn to you for your expertise now. And I was saying to you right before we went on record that I'm sitting here holding this book here, Goat Wants to Eat, and I'm thinking about the parent that's about to sit down with a child in the kitchen, at the table, or maybe on the couch, and they've called the child over. Oh, we're going to learn how to read. So what do you do? How does this begin? Can you give us some help here?
Yeah. So you want to make sure that the kid is excited about doing this with you. If there is something else that has got their interest, like the TV's on, turn it off. You want the attention to be on the book, and you want them to be in a comfortable spot. If they're hungry, reading Goat Wants to Eat, they want to eat. So that's not going to work so well. So they've got to be happy, comfortable, and focused on the relationship with you too, and the book. And then if you can get them interested in the book,
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, acting like you're a goat, being silly, and making goat sounds, and even doing silly voices, for the book, that is very interesting. And that'll, get their attention and reel them in. Uh, Yeah.
So Ruth, would
making
you
sure that they're interested. Yeah.
would you read through this whole book with them before you had them start to read it?
Um, yeah, that would lower the frustration level. It
Okay.
kind of once you read through it and the child is hearing the words that are used on each page, and if you're following along, pointing at the words as you read,
Okay.
uh, then the child can make the choice. Am I going to follow my parents' finger movements,
Mm-hmm.
or am I going to just kind of scan the page and look at the cool illustrations?
Okay.
Either is fine because they're
Okay.
hearing the vocabulary that's on each page. So yeah, read through it with silly voices and sound effects, and make them really get into this story. And once they're there, then you can go back and, oh, maybe we could read this together. Yeah.
Oh. All right. So let's say that they had decided to read it together. So would the parents say help them sound out the word cat here? Cat. Or do you just let them take a stab at it and see if they remembered it or
What I would do is I would start and then I would pause at certain words. And
hmm.
maybe when they're first beginning to read, you
Mm-hmm.
pause at the words that you're pretty sure they'll get.
Okay.
And that builds confidence, like, oh, I got that one. I bet
Yeah.
I'll get the next one.
Okay.
You're you're setting a mindset of success.
Oh, great.
Um, and then when you get to a more difficult word,
Mm-hmm.
you could maybe sound out the first letter,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe from memory they know that word and they may
Mm.
just say it from memory. Or if they're struggling with it, you just go sound by sound.
Okay.
Don't just give them the whole word at once.
Mm-hmm.
You can act like you're struggling with it. And this is where puppets come in handy too. Because in the library, when I was reading, like one of my puppets would show up.
Uh-huh.
Hey, hi, how you doing? Okay, Hamlet, we're gonna do a little reading practice. Remember how you used to help me? Oh yeah, that was fun. In the library? Yeah, okay. So then Hamlet maybe is not as good at reading as I am. Well, that's for sure. Okay, so then he would start, sounding something out. He'd get
Mm-hmm.
he'd get part
Mm.
of the word
Mm-hmm.
that starts with a W. You remember what that is? Woo, woo. Okay, woo, yeah. And then ooh, there's wool. Can you read that? Oh, I know this. This is Wolbert. Yeah, okay. So you give them a little hint, and then
Uh-huh.
they kind of can fill in the rest.
Okay.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're always hungry.
Bye-bye, Hamlet. Thank you.
That was Hamlet. Yeah. So
He's
starting
adorable.
it, thank you, and letting them kind of fill in the rest.
So if we started out with and the child maybe knew cat because there's a cat right there in the picture, then we would do like you said, oh, that's a W. So what sound is a W? Wah, and then and then once they could probably get the two pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and then the nap, kind of like that app
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. Okay. And then would you go back over it? Cat wants to nap kind of thing? Like just repeat the whole sentence with them or?
Yeah, reinforce because they're getting it in chunks and they have to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also good for kids that may be showing signs of dyslexia because
Mm.
they have trouble with blending and segmenting. So if you're practicing that, showing them the process,
Mm-hmm.
then that kind of they get that. Okay, there are portions in that word, portions of sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can start to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
Once. Oh, once. I got it.
Ah, awesome. Okay. All right. That sounds great. So would you go through if if your child is having trouble and you can tell that this is turning into a struggle, what at what point do you just sort of say, okay, 5 minutes is enough? We've done enough today, or is there any hard and fast rule on that, or do you just sort of say, okay, enough's enough. We'll come back tomorrow.
Well, yeah, kids love to play. If you can turn reading a book into playtime, you've got them, and they'll stay. But I had three kids, three very different types of learners.
Mm-hmm.
And they learned to read in different ways. So my first child was very curious, and a very early talker. His first word came before he started to walk.
Mm.
He started talking at about 9 months,
Wow.
and he didn't start walking till, I don't know, 14 months.
Mm-hmm.
So always asking questions and curious about the world. So I got him interested in reading by just finding out what do you want to learn about, insects, planets. And then that desire to know was so strong
Mm-hmm.
that he really wanted to start reading because he wanted to find out the information.
Right.
Why is this bug look this way, and what does it do? And then the middle child was very headstrong and determined to do things, by herself, and liked to argue. So it's like you're looking for a hook,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get the right hook, then the child will be interested and stay interested. So with the middle child, it was okay. So we're sitting down to read a book, and I'm going along and I'm reading it, and I get to a word that I think she probably can sound out, and I get it wrong on purpose.
Oh. Oh.
And then she immediately catches on to that and says,
Uh-huh.
"No, mommy, it's da 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 da. It's
Okay.
elephant.
Uh,
That's not,
uh-huh.
that's not kangaroo. See, there's an E." So that was very motivating for that child to be right. Oh, I won. Um, and actually, the middle child learned to read at age 2. And
Mm.
I didn't believe it either. I was hearing her reading signs, and I thought, well, she probably already heard me say that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I sat down to start, reading through a book, sure enough,
Mm-hmm.
she had already figured out the decoding, and she was reading chapter books out loud, fluently, before she got into kindergarten. So
Mm-hmm.
she would sit and have story time with her kindergarten buddies and read Cricket in Times Square. That was one of
Oh
her favorites.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
And then
wonderful.
the
Yeah.
youngest would not sit still. And so that was a challenge. And this is maybe what a lot of parents are dealing with. We sit down to read and my kid just takes off.
Yes.
So using the same methods with my youngest, did not work. Very active, has ADHD, trouble getting through school, that sort of thing. So the tactic that worked was like with alphabet cards or even word cards, throwing them around the house, and then making the learning to read very active. Okay, go find the C. Where's the C? Oh, run, and jump on it. And she'd like jump on the cards, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so and then graduating to words. Find a word that sounds like cat,
Mm.
bat, mat. Find any word like that.
Mm-hmm.
Run, jump on it. So reading became a very active exercise.
Mm. So did you make those word cards yourself and then you just threw them around the house before you got started?
Yeah, yeah. I made some myself. I used some cards, I think from like a kid boggle set,
Hmm.
where you put a word card down and then you have these cubes and you flip them around. You try to spell out the word that is
Mm-hmm.
shown on the card.
Mm-hmm.
So those were helpful, and they're pretty sturdy. They could be stomped on and pick them back up.
So,
But
e-
using manipulatives to learn to read with an active kid works.
so each day, did you change the word families or the letters that you had thrown around the house? So you were always learning a little. She was always learning a little bit more, just broadening her sight word vocabulary, or.
Yeah, yeah, it worked pretty well like that. You always go back and review because you want the child to build confidence.
Mm-hmm.
They see a word and they know that, so that it's not as a strain on the brain, and then you add a few new ones. Yeah, you want to challenge them,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to over challenge them. You don't want to frustrate them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of a balance there.
Mm-hmm. So with that child, when did you actually, pick up the book and open it up and say, okay, you know, can you find the word that starts with N or something?
Yeah. Well, reading was happening all the time. Don't wait to sit down with a book with your child when you want them to learn to read. They have
Mm-hmm.
to love books first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like reading every day. If it's a routine every day after supper, we get to sit down and read. The dishes can wait.
Mm-hmm.
They're full.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little sleepy because their tummy is processing the food. Um, Catch them while they're ready. Uh, and yeah, the dishes, they aren't going anywhere, so it's okay.
And did you keep reading picture books to her or chapter books to her?
Yeah, yeah, keep reading. I mean, even in high school, my
Mm-hmm.
kids would appreciate me coming in to read a story once in a while,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, or read a book together and discuss
Mm-hmm.
what the book was about.
Mm-hmm.
Or you see a book that they're reading and it looks interesting,
Mm-hmm.
so you will borrow it when they're done and then say, "What do you think about, the ending of that book? Did that was that satisfying, or did you want
Mm-hmm.
to rewrite it?"
I talked to Walter Dean Myers once, and he said that when his children got into middle school, he got the list of all the books they were going to be assigned to read, I guess, like in their English class. And then when they were reading them, he was reading them too. And at dinner, he would be able to bring up the story and have a conversation. And of course, I'm sure that surprised them, at first that he was reading the same book. But they, how middle schoolers are. You don't get much conversation out of them. So here was a book that they could discuss and share. And I thought, what a fantastic idea. And then to carry that into high school, would just be really, really great. Great idea.
Yeah, it also adds validity to the fact that they're reading these books and that these are important enough books that my
Mm-hmm.
parents are reading them too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kids sees the parents reading, like even in their off time, they're
Mm-hmm.
reading a book or magazine or something,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just looking at their phone. Although now you can read a book on your phone, but
Yeah,
um,
right. Right.
creating a culture of reading and showing by your actions that reading is important, that it's interesting, it's one of
Mm-hmm.
your favorite activities. That has a big effect on how kids develop as readers. So
Yeah. No, no problem in your house, I'm sure, with ever seeing you reading a book. Same here. um,
yeah.
okay. So how the all important sight word vocabulary. How do you
Uh-huh.
have any strategies for helping parents help their child to get that sight word vocabulary?
Um, yeah, for me, it wasn't a struggle. It seemed like it kind of came as they read, because the child was interested in the book.
Mm-hmm.
You'd read through the sentence, and the sight word, which maybe doesn't make as much sense sounding it out. It was part of the sentence, so it just sunk in.
Mm-hmm.
But you can use the technique of putting them on the wall,
Mm.
and then as you're passing, you point to it and you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we use this for learning foreign languages. You go through the door and there's a little tag there, porte. Oh, that's the door. uh, the more you see it, the more you say it. You kind of model that practice of,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
saying it. That helps. uh, Repetition, using it in different situations, in different sentences, that helps learn the word.
Hmm. Oh, that's a great idea. So you'd be driving in the car and just sneak it into a sentence or something, and talk about it and get that brain thinking about it again. That's a
Yeah, if
great
you see it
idea.
on a sign, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Use objects outside, and yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if your reading culture is not just connected with books,
Mm-hmm.
if it's connected with the world outside, and lots of interesting things going on,
Mm-hmm.
that helps build the passion for reading too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay. Well, I hope that has given our parents lots of hope, lots of ideas, lots of techniques and tools, and I wish everyone a great success in teaching their child, because there's just reading opens all the doors. It takes you so far. So as you and I both know, but anyway, Ruth, thank you so much for joining us today and giving
You're
us
welcome.
all of your tips, and all the way from Japan. Look at you. You're back.
Are you done? Are we done with the interview?
Almost, yeah. We're just
I,
saying goodbye now.
Oh, goodbye, goodbye, Barb. It
Good,
was nice to meet you.
goodbye. It was nice to meet you in Hamlet too. You're so lucky to be with
Oh,
Miss Ruth. Lucky, lucky sheep. Ruth, thank you
thank
so much.
you.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.